And it is day 10 since the militant group Hamas attacked Israel. The Israeli military is now preparing for the next stages of the war against the Hamas militant group, while humanitarian crisis still looms over Gaza. In the latest, the Israeli army has once again offered a window to civilians to escape from the north and move to the southern part of the Gaza Strip. The evacuation of the residents from the Rafah crossing is set to begin soon. The Israeli Defense Forces will open the Rafah border crossings. Rather, they have opened the Rafah border crossings between 9 a.m. local time and 12 p.m. local time, allowing foreign nationals to cross the Egypt border and evacuate from the war zone. Foreign nationals currently in Gaza can cross over to Egypt. This is according to the Palestinian embassy. The nationals with dual nationality will be allowed to cross over to Egypt. Meanwhile, the humanitarian aid will also begin crossing into Gaza once the crossing opens up. Earlier, U.S. President Joe Biden said in an interview that any move by Israel to occupy the Gaza Strip again would be a big mistake. Take a listen.
I think it'd be a big mistake. Look, what happened in Gaza, in my view, is Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas don't represent all the Palestinian people. And I think that it would be a mistake for Israel to occupy Gaza again. But to going in and taking out the extremists, the Hezbollah is up north, but Hamas down south is a necessary requirement.
The U.S. and Israeli officials are also discussing the possibility of U.S. President Joe Biden visiting Israel at the invitation of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. A visit by Biden will show support for the biggest U.S. ally in West Asia. The White House, however, has denied any comments on this. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken continued his outreach activities in the West Asian region. He completed his six-nation tour with a visit to Jordan. Blinken says that the nations in the region believe that any spillover of the Israel-Palestine conflict must be averted. Blinken, after his meeting with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, said, and I'm quoting him here, "Rafah crossing will be reopened. We are putting in place with the United Nations, with Egypt, with Israel and with others, a mechanism by which to get the assistance in and to get it to the people who are in need of it." This while Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said that the policies and the actions of Hamas do not represent that of the Palestinians. And staying with diplomacy, Iran has also warned Israel of escalation if it failed to end aggression against Palestinians and stated that the resistance front can defend itself. So far, 1,400 people have been killed in the Hamas attacks, and the attacks since then, most of them civilians. Meanwhile, Israel's attacks in the days since have flattened neighborhoods and killed at least 2,670 people in Gaza, again a majority of them being civilians. Well, the Israeli military has claimed that 155 people were being held hostage by Hamas since the militant group Hamas staged its deadly attack last week. Israel has said that it is now restoring water supply to southern parts of Gaza. Israeli Minister of Energy and Infrastructure said that this move will help push civilians to move south and would make it possible to tighten Israel's siege on Gaza. Now, this comes as sounds of massive blasts continue to be heard in Gaza as an Israeli ground offensive looms. And for more on this, our principal diplomatic correspondent, Dhan Sibal, who has been covering the conflict from the front line, has sent us this report from Sderot. Take a look.
I'm here in Sderot, and behind me you can see a vehicle, a bullet-ridden vehicle, and this is something that is the remnants of what happened here in this city, which saw the terror attack by Hamas. We also know that there have been movement of heavy vehicles here on the ground, something that we have seen in past few days. This is happening at a time when there has been build-up by the Israelis alongside Gaza. The Israeli government is keen on a ground offensive in Gaza to deal with the Hamas hideouts. But of course, there are worries over the humanitarian situation in Gaza. The UN has said that it could be a catastrophe, but all in all, there is a lot of anger here on the ground in Israel. There's the issue of the hostages as well. Several of them are still in the custody of Hamas, and the Israeli government has been saying that it is leaving no stone unturned to release these hostages. But behind me you can see a lot of police personnel present on the ground, and this is the normalcy which we have been talking about, guarding and of course warning people not to go on the other side of the road, which I can show you now. This side of the road now goes towards Gaza, and this is completely secured zone. You just can't go to the other side, and for that you need permission. Most of the areas when it comes to bordering with Gaza have been evacuated, and these cities have virtually become a ghost town with only security personnel present and of course media personnel, journalists present on the ground. With video journalist Sanjeet Siddhant Sibal for WION in Zedrot, southern Israel.